It is now 3:30 on March 26, 2026, special meeting of the Tuscarora Township Board. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, now this one works. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Okay, well, maybe not. Roll call, please. Someone's going to have to take minutes.
Laura, absent. Tom.
Here.
Trudy.
Here.
Lori, here. Jonathan, sorry. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Board member conflict of interest statement. Oh.
Thank you. Sure.
No conflict of interest statement. Public comment on agenda items is opened at 3:31. Any, oh, we have one taker.
Wouldn't miss it. Okay, my name is Janet Vance, and I would like to first address the proposed fabricated minutes. They are a disgrace. The minutes do not reflect the motion made by the trustee Hutchinson and seconded by treasurer Lloyd Smith to direct the supervisor to publish the RFP for the Phase 3 PER. They've been altered behind closed doors to add pending approval from the USDA and EPA. Oh, by the way, the USDA does not have any jurisdiction to approve anything for Phase 3 at this point, because they're not involved. And the EPA does not approve RFPs, and it is already in the grant agreement. This was done behind closed doors to intentionally reflect an opinion other than what was unanimously approved by the board, and those words were never mentioned in either the motion or the discussion. This attempt to obfuscate the board's intent is unethical and immoral, and Clerk Decker, who by law is ultimately responsible for the minutes, should be censured by the board for this act of fiction. I urge the board to stand up against this attempt to erode your authority by backroom saboteurs. Next, I received a copy of the supervisor's proposed RFP for the Phase 3 PER, and this is not what the board directed her to do. Phase 3 PER has been expanded by the supervisor to include Club Road area, Victor Drive, Gratiot, and Onaway Road, which wasn't in the petitioned area. There are no records of any petitions that were presented to the board that reflect support for this project in any of these areas. The supervisor does not have the authority to expand the district already approved by previous boards and the EPA, and the board does not have the authority either. Because of this, last night, the citizens of Phase 3 held an emergency meeting, and they are talking lawyers and lawsuits, as well as federal, congressional, and EPA intervention. Is this an effort to further delay and ultimately sabotage the project? They think so. This is severe, and if this board does not shut this illegal attempt of expansion down before the RFP is published, there will most certainly be serious consequences going forward, and some members may be held personally liable. The board members have a choice today. You can either fight for the respect and autonomy that you deserve, that will make your decisions, your votes, your opinions count for something, or you can concede to these backroom saboteurs and admit to the people of this township you're nothing but a puppet on someone else's strings. The choice is up to you.
Any other public comments?
Yes.
Whoop, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. I'll be brief.
I'm Scott Swanson, and I live on Club Road. Don't attend many of these meetings anymore, happily. Trudy and I talked about some of this stuff this morning, so she will be aware of it. In regard to the PRE Club Road, I don't want it to be expanded there, or the preliminary engineering report. I don't want the sewer district expanded there, and I think that's probably the majority. I think there's been minimal interest, if any, shown on, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I've been around and spoken to all of my neighbors. I'm confident in saying, though, there's been little interest in having that on Club Road and Victor, and I don't think it should be expanded. In my conversations, Trudy and I's conversation earlier today, she indicated that capacity is an issue. It seems to be the most self-evident and simple way to address, or at least mitigate that, would be to leave Club Road and Victor out. Thanks.
Who's Patty?
I would add, one thing I would add though, I don't want that to be reflected. I see Patty's here. Patty and Bob have spoken before. They want the sewer district out of their area. I have no objection to putting it there at all. Not in the least. That's fine. Just leave us out.
Would you do me a favor though, and I don't know why we're getting static. I'm not sure. Come this way maybe. Give it a whirl. I don't
Static
know.
is from cell phones being.
Yeah, cell phone, yeah.
Okay,
Should be.
thank you.
Permission to approach the board?
Absolutely.
Okay. I only have a few of these things to pass out to you guys. Color graphics and that sort of thing. A number of years ago, we had a 125th anniversary celebration for the family business. The family business is in the plumbing industry. And I remember one of the statues I pulled out from the early teens or 20s was a bronze statue of a plumber. And on the back of it, it was American Standard. Some of you may be familiar with American Standard plumbing. And on the back of it, it said, "The plumber protects the health of the nation." It's a saying for a long, long time. So when the opportunity became available to do something with sewers in Indian River, the pictures that you see there are 2025, July 2025. What that shows is the overflow from a septic tank, and those pictures were taken at Howell Marine. And a number of years ago, I went up to see our friend Kyle up at District Number 4, and he said if I had to enforce the law in Indian River, I'd have to close the town. And I said, well, that's interesting. I said, I'm tired of looking at portalets in the backyards too. So it became available, funding and whatnot, to have an opportunity to clean up the town. And in my mind, clean water, which is all we can agree on out here, politically, we should forget about left and right. We all are concerned with water. It shouldn't be a concern about politics in this town. And at the end of the day, if we don't take care of that natural asset out there, everybody goes away. We don't attract anyone. We don't attract new business, old business, kids don't stick around. The failing school district continues to fail, and we have to find a way to grow the town. I know people don't want to grow the town. Howell Marine does not need the sewer, okay? The plans I have for Howell Marine don't require a sewer. I have 25 acres across the way. I can do a horizontal bore and put my own treatment plant over there if I want to across I-75. Or I can put my own large septic system there. But the goal is to prevent that kind of stuff floating down the river, okay? You gotta be able to flush your toilet. You gotta be able to run a load of laundry. You have to be able to have your friends and family up on the weekends and say, oh, sorry, you can't flush the toilet. You have to go into town. So the opportunity here is to find a way, crawl, walk, run, a little bit at a time as the funding becomes available, and we have to chase it. If we give up on it, if they turn and say that, you know, you're a township that we don't want to lend money to anymore, that transcends federal, state, and local. That's not only us, that's DDA, that's everybody who's going to go to the trough. We're not going to get it anymore. So staying in that funding cycle and being continuous about successive projects. The politicians, federal, state, and local, love to see a project finished. They love to see the thing come to fruition. If we don't spend all their money, we don't get any more. Okay? But we have to spend it wisely. So at the end of the day, as I said, I think clean water, being able to flush your toilet, making sure your well is safe. I said in public comment on Facebook that, you know, the first time someone catches E. coli and dies from it and it happens to be your aunt, your uncle, your elderly person, you're gonna realize that your well's contaminated. If your well's contaminated, your neighbor's well's contaminated, and it just goes on and on. So we have got to find a way to do it, because the municipal water system, you don't want to go there. I know the cost of it. It's 10 times what the sewer system is.
Right.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Patty Murdoch, owner of Hal Marine as well. And so my biggest concern is the geographic territory being used on the drafts. And I know Judy and Trudy, you and I met on that, but I continue to get drafts that have that wrong scope. And the issue to me is that those were the scopes for phase 3 that we had the petitions on, that we used with the board to review those petitions, to actually vote on and to move forward. And we also used that specific description and the map and our discussions on the bipartisan work we did with Stabenow's, Peters, and Bergman's office when we took them up and down the river to show them the parcels. And in each of those requests for funding, that exact geographic area and number of parcels is used. So I don't believe that we have any right to be changing that and including people, as Swanson said, that are really not even interested in it.
Right.
85% of the parcels that we have in phase 3 directly interface with a river, be it the Sturgeon or the Indian River. And that is part of the issue. The flow would go right out there. I agree, there are parcels that it would be great if we had a phase 4 and some people wanted into it that are others, right? But I believe the integrity of our request for funding, under which we got the money, needs to be honored, and therefore the phase 3 geographic area needs to remain as it was with the 169 parcels.
Board, if you'll, Board, if you'll indulge me for just a moment. Patty, you and I met.
Yeah.
And Chris was present.
Uh-huh.
And I want to go back to your earlier statement at the beginning of your comment. And this, it was a draft. It was a working. And let me finish, please. It was a draft. And I did put in a very large piece of the pie after speaking to Steve Mann and not understanding the beginning part of the process. As you recall, Mr. Kramer did that work, and Mrs. Vance and others. And I had talked to Steve Mann, and he said, you just put something in there so that you can read through it. It was a working copy. It didn't say draft, that's my error. That won't happen again. I shared it with you in good faith because we each kept a list of things we were going to do. And in good faith, I have an appointment tomorrow morning by phone with Andy Grandskog. I've met with Aaron Nordman to talk about our existing plant. I can't speak to him directly because they want to bid on this.
Right.
I've reached out to another firm who said we will weigh in on this PER RFP. And so to that end, that somebody is saying that I've published it, it's not been published. I typed it up. Mrs. Vance provided first a PDF copy in February 11th and then a Word copy as well as a scope from phase 2 on March 11th. I used those as the template, did more digging in the system, found responses to the RFP, found a working copy of an RFP from Elk Rapids that was used, compared it line to line, have questions, highlighted areas saying, why do we want to, do we not want to? I think I asked you that, and in fact, an email saying, what do you think? You were going to talk with Anna, who seems this is her bread and butter, this is her, what she does. Reached out to Steve Mann again today, awaiting more information.
Yeah,
it is my ignorance, but what I think offends me most, is the accusation that I've done something. I'm trying to learn, and I welcome input. You and I have had good conversations. I'm seeing some faces here today that I haven't seen in 15 months. I've had input from Janet, which has been valuable. It's been a long time coming, but it has helped me, and I appreciate that. I'm trying to understand the process. You shared with, I showed you the spreadsheet that I printed off from an email from, I think, 2022, and you said, oh, and by the way, that's not the whole thing. Okay, all I have is a printed out version of it. And I think I shared with you, there were only 2 roads, and you said, no, it's everything. Okay, great. What I don't
But
like,
the parcels were all listed on what you have there. Every parcel's listed.
not on what I have.
Yes,
No,
every parcel
well,
is listed. The
regardless.
parcel numbers are used.
There's, regardless. I think what is also troubling to me is I came away thinking, okay, I've got great help here. I have a person with knowledge and contacts, and
Yes.
together we can get some
I
answers
felt that way as well.
pretty quick. So,
Originally. Mhm.
so then I get an email from you
Mhm.
saying, I'm disappointed in this email and attachment. It does not align to our discussion and the identified follow-up steps. And I've been working in good faith on those steps. It's clear you do not support any expansion of sewers or the efficiencies of economy of scale for costs to those currently on the sewers. Obviously, polluting waters in Indian River is okay to you. I come to you honestly, and I took you at your word. I won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, I did say that, and I'll tell you why, okay?
Okay?
Because I have gotten 3 copies of that draft before our meeting with that scope. I thought in our meeting, we were very clear that the scope needed to change.
Yeah.
I get the next draft, and the scope is the same.
And to
It
me, the
feels
scope
like
is
that's
the,
an- that,
Robert, something, this is not.
okay, you're right,
This
you're
is
right.
not appropriate.
You're not.
You're right.
Okay,
I'm
so,
I'm sorry.
but
No,
make
you're
your
fine.
statement, and
You're right,
if you
I'm-
wanna
you're right,
fight against
Perhaps,
each other, that's fine, but not, this is not right.
yeah.
yeah,
Are
Yeah.
you waiting to speak?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
The other issue is that the USDA and the EPA do not need to
well, okay, well,
to review any.
I was told differently, but we can agree
I
to
talked to 2
disagree.
attorneys last night, they do not,
Okay.
and nor would they even want to see it. This
Okay.
is a request for proposal for a PER, which we already have funding for,
Mhm.
and it just needs to move forward as that. Additionally, in the list that you have for things that have to be in the PER, it's very extensive, no doubt, very, very different than the ones that went out for Phase 1 and Phase 2, much more detailed, and has some comments about the Department of Public Works. So it feels like it was taken from some other, we don't
It could have
really
been.
have that. We don't have a Department
agree.
of Public Works. So it just feels like we've tried to make it much more difficult for the Phase 3 process to go forward.
Well,
I do have the supporting documents, I'll leave that for you all, of the funding request and everything else that tied to Phase 3.
Any other comments? Beth?
Beth Henderson. I just want to say, this Phase 3 that's going on, I'm not sure where you all were when Phase 1 started, Phase 2 started. I've been at every meeting. Excuse me, I'm talking to these guys. And I really, if this Phase 3 is so bad, the way everybody's claiming, why weren't you at every meeting? Why wasn't Phase 3 in front of every other phase here?
Turn your phone off. I mean, all I hear is how bad it is,
Sure.
but they weren't at any meetings. So now.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hey, thank you for giving me the credit, Ms. Maves, but the credit is not mine, it belongs to Mike Ridley. When Phase 3 started in 21-22, Mike worked with, where's Patty? With Patty, and I went into his office one time, and he was slaving over checking every one of her figures and every one of what she did. It took him several days, as I recall, so let's give credit where credit would due. That was all Mike Ridley doing that. Am I right, Patty?
Yeah, that's fine.
The other thing, I just wanted, on a positive note, I sent you all an email about raising rates. And again, I just want to say this in public. I applaud the supervisor for recognizing this long-standing problem of the maintenance account being too low. We're well over 10 years. A lot of those pumps only have a 10-year life. So thank you for taking up this hard work. Our previous board couldn't get to it, and I think it's just really good that you hired the expert, Bobby Brzezinski. He's a great guy. I think it's fantastic. I can't wait to see the results. And for those of you that don't know, we were using the Burt Lake State Park money because it was outside the original district. Burt Lake State Park was outside of the original district. And even though if they would have been in the district, we would have required to take that hundreds of thousands of dollars and pay down the loan. And Mr. Smith from USDA was adamant that we had to do that. But God bless Steve Mann intervened and said, no, that's outside the district. And because it's outside the special assessment district, the township can use that money any way they want. And previous board, long before me, decided that they were going to use that to subsidize operations and maintenance. Now that fund is pretty much depleted or almost depleted. So I'm glad that y'all, especially you, Ms. Maves, had the foresight to do the study with Brzezinski and figure out the way forward, especially as we get more economy scale when phase 1 and phase 2 come online. So I just wanted to applaud you for that and thank you, and good luck with that adventure because it's always hard to raise rates. Good luck.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Craig Carter, I live Bell Chase, part of phase 3. Couple things, I just want to reiterate what Janet said as far as these notes and throwing in these things that weren't even said. We can bring up the video. It's got to stop. Number 2, when that grant was issued, it was all based on the original map. And everything was done properly. The RFP should have gone out a long time ago, but it keeps getting delayed. And I look at this add-on as just another tactic to delay this. You started out saying you were going to cancel phase 3, which you cannot do because that grant was accepted, and if it does not move forward, this township's going to have to pay $1 million back, and that means every single person in this township will have to pay that $1 million back. Enough with the delays. I just feel like you need to start working for the people of this township and not your own agenda, because the way I see it, you got your own agenda. You look at phase 3, there are more homes that touch the water than 1 and 2 combined. It's critical that we continue this, even if there is a phase 4 down the road. But, you know, I'm just so fed up with all the BS that you better get your act together.
Any other comments? Oh,
Yeah, I'm very short.
Okay, you do that.
You told me 2 weeks.
yeah.
When I asked you about that report. 2 weeks ago, you said, hey, I'm gonna get that report to you. We stood here, we went back in your office, you told me that. Where is it?
Well, I sent it, Patty and I have been working on it to edit it. I thought we were working in good faith towards that. I guess I misunderstood that. So you know what, we'll send it out, we'll get it out tomorrow.
I'd like to say to that young lady right there that the people in your neighborhood, I'm assuming you're in phase 1 or 2 or...
Somewhere around there.
Okay, so those who didn't show up in your neighborhood to any meetings, is that how you're treating your neighbor?
Oh, yeah.
Because
I
you-
never wanted this sewer to begin with, so
That's not a
Very
good
nice. You don't need to
community
speak.
attitude, though.
you don't
So-
need to speak.
Well, you,
This is the board style.
okay, good. Anyway, sir, that's all I want to say.
What is your name, sir?
Steve,
Carter, right?
no, McCafferty. I also live on Bell Chase. It just seems like the success of this project is not going to be fulfilled if you don't do that.
Well, and
What are you
again,
fixing?
I want to make sure it's complete. I've never written one for a PER before.
Okay.
Today I got guidelines from Andy Grant's guy. So I'll take a read of those, compare them, ask someone else to edit it for me.
When can we expect that?
Well, I'd like to get it in the mail tomorrow. Someone has finally guided me on the best way to do it. We find 4 or 5 or 6 local firms, and we'll get them out to them.
Okay.
Do you want to come in and edit? Do you have time to come in tomorrow and edit and compare with me?
That's not how you do your job. Just do what you have to do
Okay.
to make it go away or finish it or,
We'll get it in the mail.
thank you.
Jeez Louise. Okay, any other comment? Sure.
Lillian Baker. Can we all treat each other like human beings, please?
Yeah.
There's people in the back talking while other people are up here. Please, you gotta realize this board chose to come in to work for you guys. Don't treat them like garbage. Have some respect, please. Everybody.
I think they're just asking for what we want to get done. Nobody's treating anybody bad.
See, I come in and
Yes,
our
sir.
board meetings do not go like this.
No.
Do
you want to hear?
you don't, if you don't want to
I'll
make.
get over it.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
A few people here probably know me. I've probably been to more township board meetings than any of you guys all have put together. Probably the oldest one in here. I've seen this stuff going on. From the very word start to go on this whole project, including the downtown district and everything, this thing has been so crooked and so put up, it's been unreal. And I'm not kidding you. I can prove everything I say. The original petitions that was sent out for the downtown district area, I got copies of them. 40 out of 100 and some were not signed right. I think there was 45 of them weren't signed right. All the petitions had on it that the man and the woman that owned the property had to sign them. There was 40 some of them that weren't signed by the wiser of them. There's been so much controversy going on with this stuff. It's really unreal. Most of Indian River, the topographical, which is the gravel and stuff, is pure sand. How many of you people know that there's been a big spill? Hold your hands up if you know about it. You don't know about the big spill? A couple of you guys over here know about it.
I know about it.
Sally knows about it.
Wasn't very big though.
No, only about 3,000 gallons that went into the little sturgeon and going into the Indian River. Only about 3,000 gallons of raw sewage. This thing has been going on for so long. It's crazy what they have done with some of this stuff. For one thing, the letters that go out to these people, like one and two over here that got out, they never give anybody an accurate REU thing to start with, which should be put on all that. All of a sudden, these guys that got $20,000 are going to have to keep that for REU, or $18,000, what it is. The Zone 3 is going to be worse than that. It don't, I don't know. And a lot of these people, I don't know if Trudy knows, or any of the board knows, how far is the downtown district behind in payments? How many thousands of dollars? Do you know?
In the loans? In the loans? No, we're not. No.
A year ago, I got the papers and checked everything. It was between $30,000 and $40,000 behind in the loan and the payments of the sewer itself, the monthly payments. I got all them papers and looked to it and went to it, everything. Over the years, we've had so much stuff going on in this township, it is unreal. Most people won't believe this. I could tell you, I'd show you, I'd have to do some digging now, but I've gotten stuff out of the county building. It told exactly what's going on. The assessor was letting people ride. They had a piece of property over here that they lived on, and they got a PRE for it, but they had a piece of property over here they were doing the same thing with. And you would be surprised how many of them there was and who they were. But it's the old buddy system. You know, if you drink with me, I'll give you a deal. Or if I give you a payment for your re-election. One guy I know got $10,000 reduction in his taxable value on his property. And this is all record up in Sheboygan. There's been so much stuff going on, it's unreal in this township. I do mean it's unreal. The parking lot over here, before they remodeled it, I come into a meeting. I had sat down and figured out how many spaces they were going to lose. They lost 20 spaces. They didn't gain anything. They lost 20 spaces by changing that parking lot. Now a person pulls in there with a boat and motor or a motor home or something like that, he hasn't got room to turn around in there. Before you could just drive through and drive back out. So much of this stuff that's went on has just been nonsense.
Mr. Jacobs, your time, it's sadly is
Yep.
up. Thank you.
Yep, have a good day.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we'll close public comments on agenda items at 4 o'clock. Approval of meeting agenda. You need a motion here, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented.
Point of order, it's a special meeting. The agenda's been set.
Thank you. Okay, let's look at the previous minutes from March 10th, 2026. What is happening?
I don't know.
Is that one on down there?
When your cell phones are real close to those microphones, that's what sets them off.
Nobody up here has one on the table.
It's the Bluetooth that I'm hearing.
Okay, minutes from the March 10th meeting, please. We have a change there? I think we do.
Yeah. The last page. I think it's full sentence motion in the previous minutes. PER for phase 3 RFP. There was no discussion about sending it to the EPA, USDA. So I'd like to strike that.
So we should have a period after, will you read the sentence as you want it to be?
To authorize the supervisor to prepare RFP for phase 3 to go to the, and we need that item add into their engineering firms. So to authorize the supervisor to prepare RFP for PER phase 3 to go into bids for engineering firms. Something like that.
Could you repeat it one more time so we get it correct?
To authorize the supervisor to prepare an RFP for a PER for phase 3 sewer to be published for bids in regards to engineering firms.
Well, there is no, well, okay, yeah, to publish. Read that one more time, please.
To authorize the supervisor to prepare the RFP for the PER for phase 3 to be published for bids to engineering firms.
Any other changes? Corrections? Make a motion to accept that change, please.
I support.
Thank you. All in favor for that change, say aye.
Aye.
Reports. Clerk is.
It was me.
And you supported it.
Yeah.
Clerk report.
I will do the clerk's report. She has 36 invoices to be paid and a total of $53,672.59.
Motion. To approve a payment of the bills, please.
No, make motion to accept and pay bills.
Okay, second. Support? I will support that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Old business, Ronan's Place. Thank you for your patience with us. As we recall, we tabled the request from Ronan's Place. Their request is for a gaming license for a fundraiser to help their Eat for Heat event. We were supplied with the documentation that was necessary. Everyone has had a chance to see that, I believe. Tom, I'm going to ask you to handle this. You ran herd on this. You ran point on this, helping gather.
Yeah, the background on that, is that unfortunately there was a prior temporary license granted to Ronan's Place with the specification that they follow up certain paperwork to prove that they're a nonprofit in town. So then the state came back and said, well, now you want another one, you haven't completed the paperwork on the first one, so now we need the township to validate that you are in fact a nonprofit. So we had to put it on hold for a few weeks to get all of that paperwork in order. And we're all very satisfied that everything is in order, and I would motion that we accept the Ronan's Place as a valid nonprofit and submit the paperwork to the state as requested.
Okay, do we have support?
I'll support that.
Thank you. All in favor, and let's read through the resolution provided by the state of Michigan, and we can make that a part of our motion as well. I've changed that to a special meeting.
This was the original.
Yeah.
That the state came through.
A special meeting of the Tuscarora Township Board called to order by Trudy Mays, Supervisor, on March 26th, 2026 at 3:30 p.m. The following resolution was offered. Moved by Tom Prout, supported by Jonathan Hutchison, that the request from Ronan's Place of Indian River, County of Sheboygan County, asking that they be recognized as a nonprofit organization operating in the community for the purpose of obtaining charitable gaming licenses to be considered for approval. Approvals, let's do roll call here. Tom Prout?
I support it.
Trudy Maves, yes. Lori Smith?
Support.
Jonathan Hutchison?
Yes.
Absent Laura Decker, no nays. And that motion is made by Tom Prout, supported by Jonathan Hutchison. And all in favor, I should say aye.
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 And the resolution is passed. Thank you. Okay. Yep, we can finish that. Okay. Public comment on the 2026 DNR Recreation Passport Grant application for building the Devo Beach bathrooms. We contracted with, the township contracted with NEMCOG. NEMCOG has been working diligently. As we recall, the township in 2024 applied for the Recreation Passport Grant. We did not score high enough to be awarded the grant. With the sewer Phase 1 finishing, we felt it was a good time to bring it back around and resubmit the application. That documentation is here. And so we're going to open this for public hearing on the Recreation Passport Grant to submit that to hit the April 1st, 2026 deadline. It is a 2-year commitment with a possibility of an extension. It is a 25% match. However, the maximum grant award is $150,000. And as we all know, the estimate is higher to achieve ADA compliance. So the total coming in is $299,330. And therefore, it would be a, I'll say, match of $149,400. However, before we all panic, that can be met through donations, other grants, in-kind work. So while it is a steep curve and it takes my breath away, it does not seem insurmountable. And we have until the final contract that the township would sign with the state would be signed March, I'll say March of 2027. And we have up until that time, we the township and with parks, to apply for additional grants, to accept donations, and or if at the time we feel it's not feasible to pursue it, we can withdraw our application. So I will open this to the public comments. Help yourself. Yes, sir.
Didn't plan to speak, but
It's okay.
I just wanted to plant a seed. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your business, okay? As you said, we applied for that before. Couldn't get it. It's a tough one.
Yes.
And if you get it, more power to you. But I would just like you to maybe look into this and consider it. And I don't mean to put Chris on the spot, but she was intimately involved with me in getting the $1.84 million special health risk grant for Phase 1. Phase 1 includes DeVoe Beach. I've been tracking your, what do you call it, your board packets. I believe in that grant, you may find that you have $150,000 to $200,000 left. And when I was dealing with Dr. Hardesty and we were dealing with Dr. Hardesty, this particular grant is very, very broad. And we changed it 3 times. And as long as you can prove a special health risk grant, and it's reasonable. And I remember talking with Aaron, the engineer, about this. As long as it's reasonable, you can get a very short amendment, because your excuse would be, not your excuse, but your reasoning would be, those are vault toilets. Bob Murdoch knows a lot about this stuff. If those vault toilets crack and you have a leak, you got a disaster. You're going to have an E. coli beach. I mean, is it going to crack? I don't think so, but you can make a case that it falls within that very narrow special health risk grant. In addition, I remember talking to the engineer, Chris can help me with this, that we could take, I think this is before we got the $1 million, we could take some of the money that we were going to use special health risk grant for and move it into that plant expansion to give you a little more cushion, since you said it might be $299,000. But I just can't think of a better existing grant already on the books, special health risk grant. And we got that because of all the leaking septics. So if you had a leaking septic at DeVoe Beach, you got a real problem. So it would take a little bit of work. I think the engineer could do most of it. I would encourage you to work with Bob Murdoch. I can't speak for him, but I know he can get you a hell of a discount, cheaper than $299,000. Because of his,
I'm checking with my friend right now.
yeah, because of his industry contracts. And if you can pull that off, I think you have a deadline where you've all got to be hooked up in phase 1 by December 31.
1/1/2027.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if you were to get your passport grant, you'd be too late. You wouldn't be in compliance with your own directive, that kind of stuff. But everybody's got my phone number, and I can tell you what I remember. But I can tell you that if you simply look into what I just discussed, and then maybe call or have Chris call Aaron, I think it would be perfectly all right. And I don't know who took Dr. Hardesty's place. I know she's gone. But that part of EGLE is extremely reasonable. Another resource I'd like to tell you on that particular grant and anything to do with EGLE, remember, Cam Cabot, our state representative, is on the EGLE Appropriations Committee. Phase 1 and Phase 2 would be a 1.5 years behind right now if it wasn't for Cam Cabot banging on the door of the director of EGLE saying, you got to get this done in the next 30 days or we're going to miss the whole construction season. So that's another resource. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just throwing some stuff out here that could save you some money, because if I'm also tracking your sewer expenditures, if the contingencies continue to stay low, out of that $1 million, you've got about $500,000 to $600,000 that's unspent. You don't want to have unspent money. And I know you probably want to take that money, if it's available, and also do the alarm system. There's an alarm system that we suggested that we were trying to get the money for, where you put, instead of just the lights on every pump, it also sends a cell signal to a web page, and it notifies the operator, oh, the pump's out. So you don't have a backed up pump. You can get out there and fix it or get the generator.
That is in the scope for that supplemental grant.
Oh, yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, in any event, just some ideas. I know that, I don't see Doug. Doug's still out on?
No, he's back.
I know Doug chucked into those, what do you call them, prefab, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, prefab, so you don't have to worry about wood. It's got ADA, and you can add little kind of cool things like doggy water fountains or, showers. But in any event, I just wanted to throw that out.
What was the name of that grant again? Because I think Steve talked about it.
It's SHRP, Special Health Risk Protection Grant, something like that, SHRP. Yeah, it's an Eagle grant. It's on. It was on the share drive when I left.
We found it when Janet brought it up last meeting.
Yeah, and I think you met with Steve while he was still here, between the sewer and the...
He was going to rerun the numbers.
I think he did. We'll have to pull that.
But again, let's say it's all used up, or you only have 100,000 left. I think if you put this in Aaron's hands, because you all were busy in hell. I've been in your shoes, okay? I think between him and Chris, I think you could get permission easily to just move a little bit of that money around, because you're already covered for the plan, right? You got an approved work plan, you got USDA approval, EPA approval. You just move some of that money over to make room for that SHARP grant, and I think you're going to be really pleased with the outcome, because of course you want to do it right, so it'll last 10 to 20 years. Sorry to take up.
That's okay. Any other comments? Yep.
Can I just ask a question? are you using the existing buildings or are you starting from scratch?
With the grant, it was to take down what's there, fill it, and then put in a prefab.
Is there a reason we cannot try to save the buildings that we have and bring that cost down and use the money elsewhere?
I don't think I'm the person qualified to answer that. I would defer to a contractor, somebody who's versed in the health of that
Okay.
building.
Okay, I just
and
was
the
curious
usefulness of
about
it.
that, yeah.
And I'm going out on a limb here, but I think because we have to clean out the vaults, fill them, render them inoperable. And
Are
then-
they under the building or are they, I mean, because if they're not under the building, that wouldn't affect.
My understanding is they are partially under the building, but again, it's a good ask, and I'll
Yeah,
defer
I'm
to
just-
somebody that
I
does
mean,
this.
you know, I worked on it a little
Yep,
bit.
yep, you did.
And I just always thought, why can't we just keep the I know they're not beautiful, but
Right.
they would serve the purpose.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Yeah.
Trudy, septic replacement loan program.
Is that for individuals, or is that for municipality?
It says both individuals and municipalities.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So we've talked before, and I'm very much in favor of going forward with the grant. Most of the people in here, a few of them know that the Windman's Club did fill out a request for grant money from Consumers Power. We leveraged the two grants, so we both get points. I think we did a pretty good job. I think we have a pretty good shot at getting that money. And regardless of whether you guys move forward with this or not, we'll still get the grant and spend the money on necessary things to enhance the park. So I would be very happy if you guys would go forward with applying for the grant. I think there's plenty of opportunities here for for other grants and donations to meet the dollars that we need.
Thank you.
I just want to tell you that I'm in favor of you guys going for the passport grant. I hope you get it. It is a very difficult process to go through that grant process. I urge you to look at that health risk grant from Eagle because it is so broad, and that was one of the reasons why we went for that grant in the first place, is to designate it towards the bathrooms at Devo Beach. That's pretty much the only involvement that the state of Michigan had with the projects of phase 1, and no involvement for the project phase 2. But we did get that one, and it fits so good with that improvement that we were going to try and save it for that. So if you can switch some money around between the $1 million grant, the plan expansion that's going on and things like that, and the Eagle grant to get what you need, whether you get the passport grant or not, that may very well help. Maybe you can put in one set of bathrooms this time and maybe another set another time, because there are 2 outlets at Devo Beach, one on one end of the park, one on the other end of the park. So there are options that you can do some more improvements later if you don't, but at least get the minimal, because we got to get rid of the vault toilets. They're just they're aged, and we have to pay to have them pumped all the time. And I think it would be very helpful if you tried to use some of that grant to help fund that. And I agree, donations are imperative, and I think that would be good. If you could put that out to the community as a project for the community to get involved in, I think you'd get a lot of response for that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Other comments on the Devo Beach Passport Grant bathroom? Okay. Public hearing, public comment period is closed. It is 3:24.
4:24.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Okay. Board. So the motion on the table is, do we want to pass a resolution authorizing the township to enter into, to apply for the 2026 DNR Recreational Passport Grant to be used for the bathroom rehab at Devo Beach. Again, the resolution is there. I can read it here. Recreation Passport Grant Program Resolution of Authorization. Whereas Tuscarora Township supports the submission of an application titled Devo Beach Restrooms to the Recreation Passport Grant Program for the construction of a modern ADA accessible restroom building, well, and other park amenities and upgrades. And whereas the proposed application is supported by the community's recreation plan, and whereas Tuscarora Township has made a financial commitment to the project in the amount of $149,400 matching funds in cash, and now therefore be it resolved that Tuscarora Township hereby authorizes submission of a Recreation Passport Grant Program application for $150,000, and further resolves to make available its financial obligation amount of $149,400, parentheses 49.9%, close parentheses, of a total $299,400 project cost during the 2027-2028 fiscal year. So that's the resolution. And again, if it's been confirmed that if we submit the application, the deadline is April 1st of 2026. We can continue to garner letters of support. We have the Women's Club who has applied for a grant that would help to supplement, beautify with additional items on the ADA side to help us earn points. We get points for more ADA accessibility. We can seek donations. We can continue to write grants. And we can, if we decide up until the point where the state sends the contract, decide that this is just not something we want to enter into, we can back out and withdraw our application up to that point in time, which is approximately March of 2027. And my understanding is, from talking to Nico, that the initial score will be sent. The state will, if there are questions, clarifications, they'll ask for those in the month of April. We will get our initial score sometime in summertime, and then a final score will come, and the award will be made. You'd be awarded, notified, and the award made if you are successful in December. And it is a 2-year process. You may ask for an extension. Questions? Comments?
No.
Again, it doesn't cost anything to submit the application. We do have there is an escape clause. And that would be March, just to say to the state, no thank you, we've decided against it. So.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
Tom?
I support it.
Trudy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Jonathan?
Yes.
4 is absent, so that's 1 absent, 0 nays.
Okay. Thank you, board. We will go ahead and submit it, and we'll see what happens with our application. It is very competitive. That was confirmed, that it is one of the most competitive grants out there. We'll see what happens. I have faith in our community that should we not be successful, that we can put our heads together and come up with an alternative. Okay. And so the next request is just to begin looking at the request for proposal for audit prep. We have another fiscal year ending here quickly, June 30, 2026. The audit will begin in earnest a few weeks after that. So we need to look at putting the audit prep work out for bid and with a CPA firm, and then to do the same thing with the actual audit itself. So what I'm asking from the board is for permission to begin that process, and then we can bring it back to the board for final evaluation. I would be hopeful in saying April, but it probably would be May.
I'll make a motion that we approve the supervisor to put out an RFP for audit prep and also an RFP for audit.
And this would be for drafting an initial, and then we'll bring it back before the board in May.
I support that.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. An additional sewer REU discussion, I broached the subject at the last month's meeting, opened another can of worms. We are working with Benzinski and Company. They are still gathering data from us. We're in the midst of a large expansion, potentially a third expansion. By their own admittance, we are doing some shotgun shooting in the dark. They said this would be much easier to do if we had a final expansion completed. We don't yet. We will soon have that. So we are looking at our ordinance very carefully, if we need to make any amendments to that ordinance, and then looking at, and this again, this is keeping in mind, we have the debt repayment, which if we are in the sewer district, we get assigned that special assessment that we pay back over 40 years. If we choose that pay method, a person can pay it off at any time. Then we also have those REU assignments that is for the O&M, the gift that keeps on giving, keeping the operations paid for. So we have to think about what are we going to do to keep our system, the operation solvent. It's not a money maker, it is just to break even on that, okay? And then we have the debt repayment, which is that individual commitment to pay their portion, that bite of the elephant, as I say, back, whether it be over 1, 2, or 40 years, okay? What Benzinski has suggested we also look at, they're looking at O&M, extrapolating to the point where we have the downtown district, as I've taken to call it, so we know what we're talking about, online, and everyone's hooked up. Everyone then, what is their O&M cost going to be with these new increased costs that we all seem to be experiencing, but also with new commercial or new development, new connections. If I own a home and I sell it and I have a connection and I sell it, I have the connection and I sell it to someone, they don't pay again. That connection is made. We're speaking about a new connection. So let's make sure that we understand that the commercial is not going up, it is going to be the new connections. It's their buy-in, it's their equity buy-in in the system. Okay? We have to look at that. That is part and parcel to the O&M. And as we know, in 23, late 23, early 24, I don't remember exactly, we had to replace 2 pumps in the commercial district. And those ran right around $19,000, $20,000. I would love to know what those would cost today. That's simply 3 years later. Any guesses? I have no idea. But we have to think about replacement costs, our R&I, all that moving forward. Okay? So it is still with Benzinski. I wanted to give you a little update. They're still pulling numbers from us. They're using the numbers from the audit and trying to extrapolate operations costs as the system, everyone gets online. So just informational. Questions, board?
Nope.
Okay. New business. Sadly, we have a resignation. Chris Green, our office administrator, is leaving us. We'll miss her. And we will be posting that job, so watch the socials, watch the website for that. Thank you, Chris. Any public comments? Yes, ma'am. Oh,
Oh, Sally, go ahead.
do you want to?
No, I'll make it. I'm just a little slow.
Okay.
When it squeals at me, I'll have problems. How do I know if it's on?
It's on.
There.
Now it's on?
You're on. You're alive.
This is a terrible time to bring it up, since we're talking about money, though. I think it's about time, and I don't know what the vehicle is, that we talk about what we pay our township officials.
Oh.
And I know that we have an annual meeting coming up in June.
Yep.
And one of the requirements, it's the
Meeting of the electors.
right. The
That-
electors
yes.
are the ones that vote on salary, and that the township board has to approve or ask for an increase in salary 30 days before the meeting. So it would have to be held at the May meeting, when this is almost the 1st of April. And I'm sorry I didn't bring it up sooner. And many of you may not know, but we pay our township officials, some of them, about $24,000 a year. And I figured that out on an hourly basis. If they worked 30 hours a week, and they get $15 an hour. They have not had an increase. I can't remember when we had the meeting at the school, because the crowd was so big, that they got a 3% increase then, and that probably was 5 years ago, maybe longer ago than that. So, but I do think, and I haven't forgotten the trustees. The trustees work for lunch money. At any rate, I do think that what we ask of our township officials is a hell of a lot more than $15 an hour. If they worked 30 hours a week for 52 weeks, that's what they would get, is $15 an hour. And we are fortunate with the people who have been generous enough to offer themselves up to run this, and unfortunately take some abuse for it, maybe a lot of abuse. But I don't know how to start the conversation about how do we get our township officials not whole, but at least a lot better off than they are right now.
Thank you. Other public comments? Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to thank Bob for coming up and telling you some suggestions. Because I know you guys are all new, and I know it's been over a year, but every day in government changes day after day after day after day. And if you have people willing to step up, be polite, like you said, and work with the township instead of badgering them, would be grateful. And I just, if Bob's full of knowledge, and if he's willing to help, I say use him.
Thank you. Other comments? Oh, we're got a traffic jam.
I'm quick. I'm far from a parliamentarian. Mr. Swanson would be a much better choice and is far more knowledgeable on this than I am. But as Becky mentioned during the first public comment section, other township boards don't run like this. Government meetings are always assumed to be run under Robert's rules. That can be several different levels of formal, but it cannot be turned on and off with a switch in the middle of a meeting. Beth was completely correct in that the public comment is exactly that. It's the public's exclusive time to comment. It is not time for a question and answer session, any more than it is time for the public to question and answer the board during board comments. So the sewer meeting has been 100% informal, and the general meetings have been 100% rules of Roberts formal. The right way to do it is to make a motion to suspend Roberts rules, take a vote on it, allow informal conversations and banter, and then reinstate Robert's rules. Please don't allow the meetings to devolve into chaos. Sewer, you can and should modify O&M. Annually, quarterly, whatever. You cannot change hookup fees unless you do it for the whole district. So the hookup fees we have now that are in place, that's what you're stuck with. And I believe that if you phrase the question properly, that's the answer you will get from everyone. Now, if you want to change them in phase 3 or 4 or 5, that's fine. You can do that. Madam Supervisor, I have not had an issue with you in the last 16 months, but I have a very difficult time reconciling what happened on March 11th and what I heard today. So just a couple reminders. SADs can be citizen-driven or they can be board-driven. Modifications to SADs that were initiated by citizens can't be modified by the board, and they certainly can't be modified by one member of the board. We don't have an executive type of government. We don't have a mayor or a city manager. We have a general law township with 5 members, and all of those members have to majority approve actions. That's not what I saw here between March 11th and today. Worse yet, I'm seeing the opposite. I'm seeing a resolution unanimously passed by the board, and I'm not seeing it being followed through on. I'm only assuming that there weren't any discussions about doing so because that would violate OMA. It's all about the appearances of impropriety. The appearances are actually worse than the actual impropriety itself. Clarifying board minutes is perfectly acceptable. Changing them is always inappropriate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty Murdoch, I want to apologize first and foremost to Trudy, to the board, and to others that I may have offended earlier. I typically am not a drama-driven person and like to work collaboratively, and I thought we were, Trudy. I did take great offense when many changes were made to the draft, but not the scope. With as much time and work as we put into this over, 7 years, that just set me off the edge. So I apologize. I should not have reacted the way I did, and I should not have addressed it that way. So I apologize for that.
Thank you. Other comments? Okay. Public comment period at the end is closed. Board comment.
I don't usually speak, but something was said that bothered me, that this board didn't want sewer District 3. I don't recall any time we have discussed it at a board meeting where any of us had ever said we did not want a sewer 3. I believe that was a Facebook post by somebody who isn't even on this board, and people are grabbing it and running with it and spreading it. If you see it in a post on whatever social media you like, please call us. The door's wide open. We're all here. Come in and say, hey, I read that you said this or you guys passed this. We will clarify. You can go through the minutes. And if we're wrong, I will admit, new girl, but you guys take these things people say and you take them as gospel. And then you crucify us. And we're just trying to do the best we can, like everybody who runs for these positions. Just please, a little grace, a little understanding, and a little less backstabbing. We're all adults, all right? We're not in high school anymore. Thank you.
Board comment?
If it's on the internet, it's got to be true. Just saying.
Yeah. Jonathan? No? Patty, thank you. And I did not clarify that, so we'll work harder together. Trying to learn. Trying to learn. My biggest, sir? No, sir, you, yes, in the green jacket. I did say 2 weeks. But I wanted another set of eyes, somebody with more background than me, to make sure that I had included everything. And that is still my fear, because I don't want to have to do it again. So we'll work hard at this. We have guidance now from the USDA saying here's some guidelines on what it should include. And we'll get at that. Mr. Odenwald, is he still here? Yes. Thank you for your input, and Mr. Swanson as well. I hope you both know, and Mr. Kramer is gone, I welcome input. I'm not a student of Robert's Rules, and I'm open to suggestions on how to run a better meeting. Come on in. You have both reached out and given me information that has helped me, and I appreciate that. Ms. Vance, the same thing. I'm trying to learn. The digital system is different, and we all file differently. So I do spend a lot of time looking for history, and I'm always thrilled. Oftentimes Chris and I are in the basement digging. But it's always helpful to have some history going in. So, any other comments?
Well, on the fact that Chris is leaving, I would like to publicly thank her for all she's helped me with. Great mentor. You've really helped me. I'm going to miss you.
I feel like I must have, you and Jan did the exact same thing.
I didn't plan to do that, but you know, I already told you in private, but the public needs to know what an asset you have been to this township and how lucky we've had to have you here. So thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
4:45.